Man lives in a society. One cannot exist outside of society. So we have to teach people how to behave correctly within society, how to reciprocally work with society in a way that one will always feel safe as he gives and receives in the right way. He is in balance with society. In that way, you are helping him for his whole life, for sure. And this is how one will not be mistaken, and he will feel that this is me and this is the world.
And where's the personal example here? Where's the imitation? Where's the role model that I can take and emulate, someone that I can become like? We only learn by example.
Today in the world, I don't think you can really find the proper examples of how to relate to yourself and to society. I don't really see those examples around us because people don't understand what is the situation they're in, what is the system of connections between themselves and between us and nature. This is something we have to learn. This is still a problem.
So we have a problem. We don't have a role model today.
This is why our world looks the way it looks today. This is why we're in a crisis. The crisis of today is not about the economy. It's a crisis of every human engagement in this world, because we don't know how to relate correctly to ourselves, to our smaller, close surroundings, to our family, let's say, to our country, to the whole of humanity then, and to the whole nature. We don't know.
How can we learn that?
Well, I found the answers to that in the wisdom of Kabbalah. And these things aren't that hard, and today they were processed into an accessible way, an accessible fashion for each and every one. And I don't see how we can succeed in the next generation, all the more so in the next generation, if we don't learn the basic rules in nature that we didn't care about before. So far, man lived in this world in order to take advantage of society and take advantage of nature.
And that's the examples that we get from everyone around us.
This is the problem. This is why we're in a crisis today, because we cannot advance like that any further. Today, we have to be balanced with everyone else and with the whole of nature, because nature becomes global today, integral. Today, I'm interconnected with everything else. The ecology is connected even to our interior desires and thoughts, and the whole world is interconnected. All the levels of inanimate, vegetative, animate, and human are one whole, where everything is interdependent. And it evokes such concerns. For instance, they say that not the flies, the bees, right? The bees are disappearing, and if they disappear in a couple of years,
we'll starve.
Yes, we will starve. And so on and so forth, meaning we see that nature begins to display itself as a global thing, and we have to fit that. We have to become like that. So we have no choice. Today we have to develop a new type of education, how to relate to our life, to ourselves, to each and every one, both for adults and for children. And this doesn't have to do with people's professions. We're in a time when many professions also disappear. Soon, many professions will disappear. People will go out to the street and they won't have anything to do, really, because all we need today is just some small percentage of the world's population to produce food. All the rest will be about information.
Not only that, if you look at the statistics of the last few years, you see that by the end of the third year of university, 50% of what you study in the first year is irrelevant. Nobody's using it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what you study in university today prepares you for professions that don't even exist.
Okay.
The 10
Yes, that's
most
true.
Common professions that will be the most common professions 10 years from now don't exist today. That's how it's happening. So
Yeah. What we learn today as a profession changes in a year, and you always have to learn, you always have to study, you always have to develop, as if to acquire a new profession. Even they still call it like the old profession you started to begin with. Meaning, what does that bring us to? What is the conclusion here? One has to know the whole system, the world and me. If I know that, I can always find a correct profession.
So let's say that I studied Kabbalah and all that, and I understand that we're all integrated, we're one system, globalization, etc., etc. Now what? What does that make me do? What does that make me feel? How does it change me?
It gives you the ability to relate to yourself and to society properly. Before, you connected to the world egoistically. You exploited the world, whether it was other people, humanity, or the media, tools, or the soil and nature. Today you have to understand that you have to take everyone into consideration as if you are all one big family. If a person knows how to do that, that's not simple. If a person knows how to do that, then he will become successful in life.
It seems the opposite. It seems like those who do it will be exploited more than others today.
We have to learn more and more in order to do that, but we will see that by nature. Today we begin to see how opposite we are to nature, how much we are in contrast to nature. Nature is global, integral, and we have no choice. We have to achieve that kind of attitude to myself, to the society, and this is the new education that is so necessary today, especially to the young generation and to us too.
So what, we should all shift to solar energy and stop using plastic? Is that it?
No, I don't think that is the topic of we should be dealing with. What we should use properly or not. These are also already outcomes. We will find what are the proper things we should do. The important thing to understand is to realize that if we do not take any item in creation, any individual into consideration, we immediately cause damage that comes back to us. And from that moment onwards, from this point, let's start examining what we're doing in our lives.
Okay. So let's say that I change from being totally self-centered.
When you begin to transform yourself, when you begin to change, let's put it this way. Let's say everyone goes out to the street, they go into their cars, and they start driving.
And I step on it.
No.
No. Okay.
No. You begin through your desire. In your desire, you begin to take everyone else into consideration, and everyone else does that as well. Only by doing that, only by being in our cars on the road,
I'll never get to work.
by doing so, we already make such a positive change in nature that we will begin to feel a positive feedback from nature. A reaction that is positive in climate, in less diseases, in everything, as if everything is suddenly prospering, suddenly blossoming, because on the highest level, in our thoughts, in our desires, we've come into balance with nature, and that will already work, and you will be able to feel that in lower levels of nature, because thought is the highest level, thought is the greatest force, meaning we don't have that much to be afraid of here. Let's try it. This is something we can do. We're capable of that. We don't have to put a lot of investments into this. It all depends on a little bit of inner effort and attention of each and every one. This is education. This is what it means. It doesn't require that much money or big changes. It's only about our inherent inner connection. In that, we will cause a big change in the whole world. And this is how, whether one will have this profession or that profession, he will be happy in any case.